Welcome back, Forex fans. It's Rob again from eXplore, and I am here again with Steve. Thank you for joining me, Steve.
Glad to be here.
And we are going through Alliance of the Sacred Sons, and he's helping me kind of understand the game and the game concepts. And certainly, there's a lot more to learn now that there's been some UI changes and new gameplay elements that have continued to be put in as he continues through his alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it. Whoever, I don't even know what they call it anymore. But we're in the closed doors build versions. How about that? And yeah, so we're going to go ahead, and you said we're going to check out the Emperor screen.
Yeah, we're going to show you kind of how that works. Okay, so this is a fairly new concept. This is actually going to get a big boost in the next version. You'll have a whole skill tree that you'll be able to kind of improve your character and character development. Coming soon, yes. All right, so right now, so you have your two main concepts are your inner circle, which you can see right now you don't have anybody, and this represents your closest advisors, or not necessarily your celestial council. That's mandated by the government. The inner circle is more social. That's an informal. Like, these are the people that you can trust the most, that you're kind of your go-to. A big part of the game is about you as a person, as a human being, and so this is kind of the first pass at that system, which is eventually going to again have a full character development. And you can kind of go kind of a darker kind of leader, or more benevolent. But you have what's called spirit, and you can see it's kind of in that center where it says satisfied. So when it's more on the green side, it means that you're feeling good about things. You're kind of mentally calm. You're in a good place. You're happy, basically. And this helps you in several ways. The biggest thing is it improves your health. It basically gives you a better chance to have better health each turn. And then, of course, if it's high enough, it can improve, give you more AP. So that's a very direct thing. So when it's getting low, when it's in the negatives, you can lose AP, and of course, it can make you less healthy. So, part of the management of the game is managing yourself. And if you consistently use every single AP, every single turn, it's going to affect your health as well, because you're basically running yourself out. So, so for now, you have a couple of actions. Rest basically lets you take all your remaining AP, and it can improve your health if it's not below a certain amount, and then it can also improve your spirit. Engage in hobby is kind of a one-off. If you click it, it'll improve your spirit a little bit. And you can do that. See that it'll go up just a little bit.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. That's what I wanted you to do anyway. So your spirit went up a little bit. Not major, but you have these different categories, and each one can give you a potential increase in AP. And then improved traits actually is going to be something we're going to do a little differently. It'll be part of the skill tree. That's kind of an idea that we changed kind of midstream, so it doesn't really do anything yet. And then the inner circle, you can actually invite people to your inner circle. They have to be allies or better, and basically that's it. And it's treated like any other action. They can accept or decline. The great thing about an inner circle is once they're in your inner circle, they basically will always do what you ask, unless it's in a hostile action. So, if you have to kind of sweat it, are they going to help you, with a star base, or, change the production, or whatever? If they're in your inner circle, they will always agree to do it if it's not hostile. And then the other thing is, just like in real life, when you deal with someone that you like, would you rather talk to a friend, or would you rather talk to your worst enemy?
Yeah, always my friend.
Well, sure. It makes you feel better. When you deal with someone you don't like, it's like, I get on. So it goes in Alliance. When you talk to people that you're enemies with or rivals with, your spirit will decrease. When you talk to people that you're friends with or in your inner circle, your spirit will increase, just like real life. So if you're always dealing with, the a-holes of your empire, that's going to take a toll on you mentally. So sometimes you need an inner circle to kind of recharge. So the more people you have in your inner circle, it's sort of a passive benefit. It gives you a slight spirit boost at the end of every turn.
Very cool. All right. And I assume that when you bring someone into your inner circle, it also increases your relationship with them.
No, it actually doesn't. Because you already have to have a high relationship to begin with. But it does. It makes them feel better, increases their trust.
Okay.
So.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't do it. You can't. No one's going to be in your inner circle if they hate you. It won't even give you the option. So these are people that you want to be around.
Right.
But yeah, it's considered a boon. The character will get a slight power boost from it.
Very good. All right, so we've expended all of our action points, and I guess what's left now is to just hit the end turn button, right?
Yep. Go next turn.
All right. And so when it's processing, is it also like what is going on behind the scenes right now, other than some of the events that pop up and stuff like that? What else is going on?
Well, the houses are doing their thing. You can think of them as empires in a traditional 4X. They're formulating a strategy. In fact, we can go when it's done processing. We can go to the house screen, and we actually didn't talk about that. But houses have primary and secondary goals. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So, okay, so Van Rigel. So again, they're the one that you're kind of focusing on right now. So right now, their ultimate goal is territory. And you see under the historical summary, where it says territory : claim systems.
Yep.
So your intel is high enough, it's green, that you can see both. Like if you click on Kierley Finn right below it, you don't know nothing. You don't know what they're doing. That's why you want to get an Inquisitor out there if you're trying to see what they're doing. But for Van Rigel, they are trying to expand. So if you want to get on their good side, once you understand what they're trying to do, and this is pushed in part by their house traditions, and then they also have sort of a baked in kind of an ultimate, like a strategy that they're kind of known for, and that is affected to some extent by their house leader. But as you play the game more, you'll see the houses have their own personality, and they'll tend to do things that kind of are in reputation with who they are. This being a new game and not it's not connected to a property, you just have to kind of learn that. But you'll see they do act kind of in their way. So anyway, so they want to claim systems. So in fact, if you look over on the project bar, you can see they're already Milok is looking to claim a system. So that's interesting. So if you look at their house
system too.
Yeah, so see, they're also wanting to claim systems. The difference is Milok or Van Rigel has a lot fewer resources. If you look at their basic materials, they only have 84 units of basic heavy materials. That's not very much. So that's something that's really probably holding them back. So if you want to help them out, they may calm you. Hey, we need some heavy materials so we can do our projects. Because again, they're just like you. They operate by the exact same rules. If you don't have the resources or the money or the ADM to do a project, they won't either. So if you want to jumpstart a house, you need to give them the materials they need, be it money, holding resources, whatever. Of course, and again, as with anything else, other houses will notice this and they will either like you if they're allied with them or not like you if they're enemies with them. So, okay. So go ahead and close that out. So that that's kind of what they're doing. All right, let's take a look at some of the comm. Now you can see you got the two people talking to each other, and that number, that's how many turns you have to respond to a comm request. Now remember, like we talked about spirit, if you talk to someone you don't like, it will lower your spirit, but sometimes you have to do it. I mean, it's an empire. We do things we don't like. But if right now, Milok, y'all are buddies, so this will improve your spirit. And you can kind of mouse over to see, okay, and you see we've kind of cleaned this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah, and it's not completely done. I haven't fixed the effects. Like you can see, the power still the same, but basically, it's what it's going to look like. You'll be able to see a power loss. You'll know how much power you'll gain or lose. That's something we decided to make public in the next build, rather than just kind of, you don't know what's going to happen. So it'll allow the player to make a better decision. So if you want to do this, it's a request. You can see that it's a green, and it'll just tell you this is a request. So if you decline, you're not going to lose power, but this person will not be as happy. So they will probably, your Emperor reputation will take a hit, and of course their personal will take a hit. You have a ton of basic materials. I think you're probably okay to give it to them. You want to try to maintain relationships with the houses as much as possible, and this is one that you probably want to do. All right, so, and that's a global event. You can go ahead and click on it. All right, so this is another new, you can see, and we're getting there. We're cleaning it up.
Yeah.
So where's the fireworks? So, okay, this is a fun one. So basically there's a firework display. I guess, on Dreamland, and they have a firework maestro who normally coordinates it, but he's fallen ill and is not coordinating the display. So they've come to you to find out what to do about their fireworks. Not all the events are life and death. Some of them are kind of stupid, but again, the ultimate goal of the game is to make you are the emperor. You're a person. You deal with this crap, whether it be, empire threatening or just something like fireworks.
So all of them have a high risk. A high risk of what?
So that's something that will be in the next build. So
Okay.
that's kind of a new. So risk is something that's been added to events. It's not yet in this build, but a low risk, moderate risk, or high risk event. So basically, a low risk, not event, a choice means that the positive or the negative will be minimal. So even if it turns out bad, it won't be that bad. A high risk selection will either have a great outcome, or if it goes bad, it will be a lot more devastating. So that way, you as a player, it's kind of like, I guess, like Stellaris, if you want to think of it kind of like the survey. You have the different risk levels.
Right. Yeah.
You kind of get an idea of, well, okay, this is a level 8. I probably shouldn't do that.
Right. Yeah.
Versus
Might take
level
forever.
2, like, so it's kind of risk reward. So that'll be in the next build. That's something that wasn't in the prior, but we've added the UI for it. So prime effect is the prime that's attacked. And this is why I was saying, hey, you can't just put, they can't all be just political appointees, because the prime effect, if they're good at their job, if they're good at the category, like domestic prime, if they're good at government, then they'll give you a positive effect. So basically, if you see a positive number, that means you have a better chance of a good result. If it's a negative number, even though it's green, which I got to fix, you have a chance of a worse result. So this is where putting primes in, spots, like if you have a fantastic Intel prime, that gives you a consistent 40-50% boost, then you probably want to do the Intel action. But of course, if it's a high risk, then you have to make that choice. So I'm going to let you pick the one you want. I will tell you that blue is benevolent. I'm sorry, blue is domestic. Yellow is military. Red is tyrannical. And green is benevolent. And those are just your personal, they don't have primes attached. That's your personal personality.
Yeah. I was already just sort of leaning this way, so I'll go ahead and see how it goes. Okay. It didn't go well for me. All right. So I guess it seems like, yeah, I wasn't able to do it. All right. And unfortunately, at least it was cheap, but my spirit decreased by 20. All right.
Yeah, well, you're not, because so every event will have a spirit effect. And then they'll actually have a few more effects when we get the full character system in. And then obviously if they, some of them like destroy a planet or something, then that will obviously be an effect. But every one of them will have a spirit effect. So if you go back to your Emperor now, click on your Emperor screen. Oh, sorry, that's your challenges. That's if you click the number. We're going to find a better place for that. Go ahead and close that out. That's just for challenges. Yeah, so you're satisfied. Now you see your health went up. That's why you have more AP, because you start out with a base of 5. And if your health's perfect, that adds a +2. Robust is like a +1, and then neutral. And then if you start getting sick, it lowers it. So, once you go pretty far in the game, you'll be able to have AP, your max of 15. So you'll be able to do a lot with that. But of course, if you're sick or incapacitated, then you won't be able to do that. All right. So remember, this time that you're spending, so you got to think about, at the end of the day, it's a time management. So I've got 4 people that want to talk to me, but if I talk to them all, then it only gives me 3 AP to do whatever I need to do. So again, there's a balance between dealing with my people, dealing with, I guess, the political side, and then dealing with the empire side, like actually doing things, the projects, things like that. And so we really want that to be kind of a major balance of the game. So the AP should feel, like every AP I'm doing something with. And they're not just, next turn.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. So I picked Van Rigel because that was somebody we were trying to kind of win over.
And see, here we go. They're light on basic material. Well, they're light on everything. So yeah, definitely you want to give them basic materials. Okay, so let's see. So
these others I can just sort of ignore.
Now, if you go to their house, now go back to the house screen. I'll show you. It'll have an immediate effect. See now, Van Rigel. See how you got a slight boost in reputation.
Oh yeah. Okay, great.
It went up a little bit. Like I say, it's not it's not giving them materials isn't like a huge thing, but if you decline, you're going to see a much bigger hit to your relations. So sometimes it's worth just giving it to them, even if you don't want to, just because you want to maintain decent relations. As the emperor, they feel like it's their right to come to you to basically be the give them the handouts because you're leading the empire. Well, I mean, it's just like the Crusader kings. I mean, you're the king. You should be the one. Your loyal subjects. So that's kind of the mindset. That's why the penalty if you refuse is so much worse than if you actually follow through. It's kind of expected that you'll protect your subjects, so to speak, but it's considered a major insult if you decline, especially if it's a demand.
Gotcha. All right. So what do I do with these over here? These notifications here.
Well, okay, so you've got basically the top two are just telling you that your popular support or happiness has changed. You can mouse over them to see. So unrest decreased. And then 12 million, because you put a lot into your military. So 12 million citizens have basically are no longer unrestful, which is good.
Okay.
All right, so you probably do want to answer the rest of your comms.
Okay.
You only have 3 turns, and if you don't answer a comm, they get very upset because you basically have blown them off.
Man,
Okay, so this is an
stuff.
interesting one. So basically, this is you publicly saying, "I support you, Katrina Grissom, as the supreme ruler of House Horlock," which is and they're friends, so that's a good thing. But this is one where you're giving them power. That's what that plus 20. You're giving them, basically you're putting your imprimatur on their rule. So if you do that, it's a very powerful action. Also, House successors will ask for this as well. There's another similar action where they'll say, we want you to give your imprimatur for a system governor in our house or a province governor in our house. They need more power. And it's kind of the same thing. You're basically giving up a little of your power to endorse them, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In front of the empire. So when you do that, of course, houses that are not affiliated, that don't like that house, will hate you a little bit more. So everything's interconnected. Excuse me.
So that must be part of why I have poor relations with a couple of these houses, because I'm good with Horlock, but Waldergrave doesn't like them very much.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So, the friend of my friend is or the enemy of my enemy is my friend, that sort of thing. So when you do an action, there's knock-on effects. And that's what you just have to consider. Okay, if I do this, if I make this house, like prop them up and say, yes, they're a great house, their enemies are going to take it out on you. Even if they're friends with you, they're still going to be less, they're not going to turn on you in a heartbeat, but their reputation is going to drop a little bit. So, all right, so this is a demand. So this guy hates you. So basically, if you accept, you're going to lose power, because the rationale is they have publicly come to you and said, not I'm asking you, but I demand you will do this for me. So if you acquiesce, then you will actually lose respect in your court and in your people's eyes. So you will lose some power there. But if you stand up to them, you will gain power. But of course, you will make them very pissed off. And then, of course, the knock-on effects with that. So you don't have to answer right away. If you right-click out, you can actually close it, and you see how the icon's now red and it says active comm. So you can actually go and do some research and check and see what the effect is before, because these are pretty major decisions.
Right.
So you can kind of see what would happen. So Waldegrave is probably not one of those you really care too much about. Curely is the one that you need their science. Waldegrave is kind of crappy. So if it were me, I'd just say F it and just say, pound sand. So, but now go and now click on, so you lost a little bit there. So, yeah. So, there's always consequences to everything you do, but it's just a matter of what's best for the empire and what's best for you. And everything you do, it's a zero-sum game. You cannot please everybody, or you cannot do everything. You are going to have to make choices on what is important. So, okay, so you've dealt with that. So now you have 3 action points. Your Starbase looks like it'll be done in 2 turns. Look like Elysium is trying to be claimed. Now, you actually have, if you look at the influence on Elysium, if you want to zoom in a little bit, it's in the upper right of LaCordia. So you actually have the most influence. So if you wanted to put a claim in on this system, you have that right, and you would actually win that claim because you have more influence. However, if they claim it first, then their influence in that system will probably exceed what's kind of there already. And it's actually not a bad system. Actually, I saw, what was that? Was that a Terran system there? Go to overview. Oh, you don't have enough intel. Never mind. But it looks like a Terran. You know that there's a Terran and an ice world. Or, I'm sorry, yeah. So, no, I'm sorry, that's a greenhouse world. It's got the lightning. We changed the graphics for that recently. So you have a decision to make. If you want, you can jump in there and put a claim on the system, but you don't exactly know what's in there. You just know it's a Terran in a greenhouse world. You can go ahead and let them have it. They should claim it within 4 turns. And then after that, they will probably start to colonize it if they have the ability, or at least add it to the province. As you can see, you don't have a lot of, you've got Cradle, Elysium, Nirvana, all the other systems are colonized. So if you want to expand within LaCordia, you need to claim a system, probably.
So since they're after that one, I mean, yeah, that doesn't look. The other system looks better. So if I were to make my claim on this, would that negatively affect my relation with, who's that again? That's Van Rigel.
Hell yeah, because you're snaking their system claim. You bet it.
Okay. And so how do I go about doing that then?
Okay, so click on the system and then go to your government mode, which is the little Agora looking icon right by number 4.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Okay. Now click on create project. Okay, now you can see claim system and then assign system province. So go ahead and claim system. And this is what anytime you want to do anything with a system, you have to claim it. And this is another kind of major concept of Alliance. You can't just go out and see a star and send a colony ship and be done with it. You have to actually diplomatically claim that system within the Empire, and your influence, which is those numbers there, they kind of, they kind of radiate from, planets and holdings that you have nearby, and of course how much value they have. So this prevents, I always hate games where you've got like 4 stars surrounding this, 5th star that's kind of, uninhabited, and then some random empire just comes in and takes it. And it's like, that really wouldn't happen in real life, so it represents that basically, it's uninhabited, but I have a nominal claim on it by my influence. So, all right, so you kind of already know how to set up so basically the same thing. Now this is your planet.
I find it a bit ironic that it's a Van Rigel member that I will be assigning to this, considering that they're the ones that want this planet.
Well, and if you wanted to, and again, there's so many, and that's why it's hard to say like you should do this or that. I mean, if you wanted to, you could claim it and then give it to them. You could give them the system.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, that. So everything, kind of has a choice. But I would honestly, you only have one planet. If I were you, I would probably really, especially if it's a nice planet, like you're kind of shooting in the dark because you have limited intel on the planet. But any Terran planet is probably going to be decent. So I would just take a chance and just claim it, and then you can intel it later and send a probe or whatever, or just colonize. You can colonize planets blindly. There's no rule that says it has to be inteled, but of course you don't know what's there. And when the planet, you see there's planet traits on the system view, those are going to start having, I guess, consequences. Later on, probably in 0.9, those are going to start, being a thing to consider. Right now, they don't do anything, but they will. Okay, so you don't have any ADM. So you need to go to you've got money, but you don't have any ADM assigned. So you need to. So basically, Van Rigel, they don't have any ADM available right now, or they're not willing to give it to you because remember, you are claiming the system. The only houses that are going to help you with that are your allies. Okay, right? Because you wouldn't. I mean, you're a house. You're kind of competing. You're not going to voluntarily give up your own resources to help the emperor expand his empire, right? Unless y'all
Right.
are like allies. So that's kind of what is going on. So that's why you've got Horlock is willing to help you, and they're willing to give their ADM, but no other house will. And again, another reason why you need more allies, because you're not going to be able to do very much until you start building up allies, because you won't have much ADM to work with. And ADM is like the key to the whole. Anything you want to do, expanding empire, building planets, any of that, military, you got to have the ADM, and you won't have it. It's hard to build it organically. I mean, you can, but it takes time.
All right. So then my next question becomes, does it matter how far away they're coming from? Like, does that change how? Like, okay, so this guy's coming from New Terra, and these are already here, I guess. Or no, there's courtiers. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the fleet travel time. So yes, if the administrator, it depends where they're at. So you see where they got the travel on the
Yep.
so the travel says how long it takes them to get there. However, if it's a space based, like if it's a send probe or survey fleet, they're not going to be on the fleet. So that's basically shows the fleet transfer time.
Gotcha.
But yes, it does matter, especially if it's they have to actually travel to the planet. All right, so you have one AP left, so I would go to your emperor. Yep, and I would engage in a hobby. This is kind of something that you can do to kind of if you got a spare AP, you just that way you're not wasting them. You're giving yourself some downtime. It's not good to consistently burn your APs every single turn, because again, it can affect your health roll. Just like in real life, you can burn yourself out.
Yeah, don't I know?
Right.
Sure.
One thing I have not done, I need to put in an alert for the so when it generates a turn, check the Celestial Council. I need to put in an alert for when there's a bill proposed. I haven't got an icon for that yet, but you have to check it manually right now. But I would check that first thing, because you may have a bill to vote on, and we can talk about the Celestial Council, which is a whole.
All right. Wait for it to process, and we'll get on over there. Now I imagine that, like, the systems and everything that you're adding and stuff. Like, once you get them all in, that's when you're gonna start looking at like reducing turn times and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. I mean, we got it down to about 30 seconds, which I mean, if you think about it, you've already got a fully formed empire. It's not like Civ where you start off with a settler and a worker.
Right.
It's like, think about it like mid game in a Civ game. So it's not, you can't play by the same rule. But yes, we're always looking at.
All right, so we have definitely want to answer this one, because Corrali Finn's somebody I want to make good with. So we'll give them their materials. And then here we have another global event. Let's take a look, see what that is. All right, so a very rare beef. All right. So, Your Majesty, we have a situation developing. It seems that the Eutropia Stone has been the victim of terrorists, and they are demanding that House Honecker pays a ransom of 50 BCs, or a bomb that has somehow been attached to her will be detonated. Oh, cool. that's good. Oh, but this will work better for me because I have a good Inquisitor Prime, right?
Yes, so you have a better chance of a positive, not guaranteed, but better. I mean, the military, you have a crappy war prime. So, and that I can tell you that military will always be high risk. I can tell you that always be high risks.
I like this answer just because of the way it's worded. No, we're not going to. We're gonna do this. All right, cool, awesome. All right, so it looks like it worked out for me, and yeah, after 20 minutes later, you see the holographic dots and screens that represents the agent location's conversion of the target. The scene is chaotic, and you hear some shots being fired, but after the picture stabilizes, you hear a very relieved Inquisitors. We got the target safe and sound. Cool. So my spirit has increased. I'm a happy guy.
So do you like this new AI for the events? Actually, we're pretty proud of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Definitely adds some personality to it. I love that a lot.
And the art, the art you see, that's a preview art. There's eventually going to be 8 to 10 new arts for the stories alone. The stories and events.
That's awesome. Oh, great. So now I'm getting some notifications of intel being increased. Although I didn't send my Inquisitors to Waldegrave. So is that happening? Like, does intel increase sort of just generically over everywhere, no matter who I'm targeting? And then
Yeah. So go to the Intel mode. I'll show you how Informer how Intel works.
is
So
this?
yeah, click on the little eye, it's one of the secondary modes. It's on the right. It's a green. It's got a little eye on it on the main the command modes. I know when you've played it a while, it's like you get used to this new system. But yeah, go ahead and
I
click
did not
on
mean
the.
to do that. Nope, I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, did you do a new turn?
I think I did somehow.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's all right. It's not end of days. But yeah, the Intel system's gotten a rework, so we can talk about that too. By the way, you're going to get events probably every turn. I may have forgotten to. Well, actually, no, I didn't forget. I wanted to force events because I knew we were going to be talking about it, so I wanted to make sure that system was shown and how that works.
So, where am I looking?
Okay, on the command mode console, which is the center,
Yep.
lower center on the most right, you see a little eye right there. That's
go.
it.
All
Okay.
right, okay.
So if you zoom in a little bit, so you can kind of see. So you have your intel level, which is high for most of these planets, and then you have the number of inquisitors, which is either 0, 3, you haven't moved anybody yet, and then the Empire Intelligence Center. So Waldegrave, trying to think. Go to the go to the house screen, please. Forgot what planet he's on. Okay, click on him. I just want to see what planet he's on right now.
This one here.
Yeah, just click on him because it'll say where he's at. Okay, he's on Horlakia. Okay, so go to Horlakia, which is on Vow, the Vow system. All right, so now you can. Okay, so you have active and passive intel from every planet. So this is generated. Active intel is very specific intel, usually having to do with plots. Passive intel is more about characters, like information increase on characters. Now, you've got one informer on the planet. Informers kind of generate semi-randomly. These are basically pops that have decided to inform for you for whatever reason. Go ahead and click on the planet. We haven't actually changed this yet, but you can see. So you can set a budget. Like if you have, this is their home world. So if there's a lot of people from this house that you want to keep an eye on, you can actually set an informer budget. You can actually set it, anything from none to critical, and it'll give you, you'll have that pool. If you look at your Intel, go to your Intel pop-up. It's in the lower right. It's the Intel button, not the mode, but the actual, like next to the economic where you did the budget. So you have the screens, we call them nexuses. Yeah, there you go. Click on that. Okay, so you've got a 53 billion informer budget right now. So basically you can apply that to, you can apply it to one planet by making it a critical priority, or you can kind of spread it out. But the more money you put on a planet, generally speaking, the more informers you'll have, and then that intel chance will increase. And that's kind of the easiest way to gather intel without directly assigning an inquisitor. Which inquisitors, especially when plots get more, I guess we're still working on balancing the plots. You're not going to want to send your inquisitors. They're going to be very precious resources. So you don't want to necessarily send them out just getting intel unless it's for a very good reason.
All right. And I imagine this symbol here signifies just how good they are at their job, how good they are at inquisiting.
Correct. Well, yeah. Okay. The symbol on the right is their espionage rating, okay. And then the one next to it is their spec ops rating. So a 3 and 2, like I say, that's good. Spec ops is used like assassinations, interrogations, blackmail, that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And then the espionage is used for just intel, like intel missions and things like that.
Very cool. All right.
Anyway, but that just to answer your question, and they just got a random hit on that from probably that informer. So yeah, you have a chance every turn of getting intel on basically any character that has any intel, either informers or inquisitors in the system or an Empire Intelligence Center. As long as there's some form of intel gathering you have a chance of getting intel on every single character potentially.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm sipping on a cool fruit drink, considering whether or not to take in a show when your emergency override comm cuts through your thoughts like a jagged plasma beam. You stab at the override acceptance pad, revealing a very harried-looking war prime. What's going on, Your Majesty? This is dire news. A large asteroid is headed for planet Jerthbog, and my academics say it's large enough to wipe out Jerthbog. All right, well, that doesn't sound good.
You do have some events that are significantly more important than that.
Yeah. So, wow. Okay. So let's say that I fail this one. Does it wipe out Jerthbog?
More or less, yes.
Awesome. All right. So then I think that's probably something we need to.
So remember too, and that's why there are 8 different endings, because each choice has a good ending and a bad ending. So, right. Some of them are nuanced. Some of them it hits the planet. Some of them it grazes the planet. Some of them it misses the planet. Sometimes it grazes the planet but causes other issues. So, we're very proud of these events. We feel like they add a lot to the game and a lot to like the backstory of just making you feel like a person.
Yeah, no, I love this. I mean, the writing's really good, and then also I just like the idea that I'm making choices. I mean, I have quite a few of them here, but I'm making choices that really could affect the entire game. I like that a lot. So, I feel like this might be my best bet, just because it looks like I have at least a small bonus, and so I could evacuate the planet. And then I guess, would the population just move on to other planets that I have?
Well, you click on it and find out.
Yeah. Let's do this. Oh no. My science prime has failed me. All right, so we recap the situation. Well, I know I certainly don't have the answer, but I know who might. She makes a few holocalls, and a short time later, she returns looking excited. Yes, one of my brightest academics has a thought. He said that if we can send a derelict freighter to smash into the asteroid at just the right velocity, it might knock the asteroid just askew enough to skip it out of the atmosphere. And I lost 75% of my population. Oh man, that's definitely a spirit decrease. I feel like my spirit's decreased. So, all right, that one didn't go too well for me.
No, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And again, every single choice has a positive. Although, again, if the risk is high, like when the risk factors are put in, like that one actually had a high risk, because if you succeed, then you actually would have succeeded in saving the planet. But of course, the risk is you spend all your time on it, and now you didn't evacuate the people. You put all your eggs into this one freighter, and now what happened. So that's kind of the way the events work. So you feel like you have some control, and then of course you have the prime. The better your primes, the potentially better chance you have of getting a positive result.
So a quick question: is there an easy way to give me like a breakdown of my planets? Because I know Jerthbog has to be in one of these systems, but I'm not sure which one. So, in order to quickly look that up, what would I do?
So go to the second on the left hand, those icons that are going up. Go to the main overview.
Okay.
And that will show you all your plans. And this is going to get a pretty major change. It's going to be a lot easier to. Whoa.
Yep.
What was that?
What happened there? I clicked on it, but it went that way. All right. So it looks like these guys just took a huge hit. Then it wasn't me, which is good, but still. I mean, I imagine that they're probably not happy about it either, right?
Oh no. They're pretty bitter about it. So I mean, all in all, they're not happy. The planet has lost 75% of its population. It's just not good all around. They're probably their love for you is diminished quite.
Yeah, it certainly took a huge hit, and then I imagine that their capabilities. Oh yes, I do not believe they were this low before. Oh man, so that definitely did not work out in anyone's favor there. All right, what happened here? I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's really weird. Click on click on another star. Like go back to that. That's really weird. I've never seen that. Click on another planet.
Oh, sorry. All right, we'll go to Yep, it looks like I've broken your game.
Wow, that's really interesting. I have not seen that.
You know, it's
Okay.
actually a perfect time for
Right.
another break too, because we're right at the 40-minute mark. So hopefully I can maybe send you the save and you can break it down. But we've gotten a lot of great information. I was hoping to go through the alerts there because there were some good ones, like some. There was one about someone's health, and I was hoping to maybe figure out what we could do about that kind of information. But maybe in the next episode.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
go ahead and save it. You should be able to save it, and then you should be able to pick it up. Looks like just a graphical issue. So
yeah.
yeah.
So that'll be what we can do. We can continue this one now that you've got the UI. That's kind of. I'm sorry. I meant to mention that the reason why we kind of postponed is because you wanted to add some of these UI elements, and we were so close to it, it just didn't make any sense to just do it right before all the UI stuff came in. But now that we've got the UI elements, it'd be great to just continue this series and get on with you every week or so or every couple weeks and continue to dive into these gameplay mechanics and learn them by by being taught by the developer. Who better to teach me than the developer himself?
Right?
So
No, I enjoyed it a great deal, and it's fun to watch you play. And obviously, there's not a perfect play because you're not 100% sure what's going to happen, especially with events and whatnot. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you coming, and yeah, poor Jorbog. I feel bad. I've doomed them all 75% of their population. I've doomed them, but yeah, I'm really digging this, Steve. I really like that. That it feels like this game is really coming together, and I know you still have a lot of development time left, but I'll tell you what, it feels like a significantly improved game even from just a couple months ago when we last played. So really looking forward to seeing how this progresses, and looks like all your hard work's really coming together.
Well, I appreciate it, and we'll know soon enough. Just keep following, and like I say, next major update, we're gonna have the start of the military system, which is kind of the last major system before the ZIL. So at that point, once the military system is put in, I mean, we're really going to start focusing on obviously bugs and balance and UI feedback and things like that. So I can tell you that our publisher is taking a look at kind of releasing it later in the year, giving it some more time to kind of develop, and they have some real high hopes for this title. And but a game this complex, it needs time to really balance and have that feel that we want. So they are definitely very receptive to making this game as good as it can possibly be, and putting the resources to make that happen, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's excellent to hear. I think that I share your sentiment in that I think that there's a great deal, and their sentiment too, that there's a great deal of potential here, and it's already being realized in a lot of ways, and that makes me very excited. I can see this game being something I could really just get sucked into. So, thanks again, Steve, for joining me, and we will probably do something like this in the next couple weeks, and we'll just keep doing them. They're fun.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care, and until next time, keep exploring.